"How much farther until we cross beneath the castle wall?" he whispered. The candle that Orla carried was only as a courtesy to the humans, and made her look creepier in the darkness of the tunnel. "Almost there, master." "Then let's stop." He still didn't want to explain that Wren the apprentice was actually Alicia the princess, but he was certainly not going to put her through the pain of hitting the spell's barrier. Then he asked Orla if there was some way to get a message to the village, or when he had asked Orla if there was some way to get a message to the village, he had been picturing smuggling someone out with a refuse cart, or maybe something involving birds. But Orla had studied him for a moment and said, "Well, there's always the tunnel." Now he peered around the bits that he could see by the light of the candle. Orla, Throck, and Gerbeetle all looked perfectly comfortable. But then the tunnel had been clearly built for their height. The roots that dangled between the timber supports barely grazed their heads. Cirrocco and Alicia were not so lucky. Gav wasn't sure about them, but he was fairly certain he already had a bruise on his forehead from an encounter with one of those supports. "How long has this been here?" he whispered. "As long as the castle?" Orla shrugged. Can talk loud. Folk can't hear." "Oh," he said in a normal tone, feeling foolish. "But why do we have this in the first place? Is it an escape route?" "Because the village folk have always needed to talk to the castle folk," came a voice in the darkness. "Ah!" He jumped, startled, and bashed his head once more onto the tunnel roof. Tyrwin emerged from the darkness. "Apologies, my lord. Are things that tense, then?" "Gah!" he said intelligently, trying to get his racing heart under control. "Wait, the humans and goblins are friends?" Alicia asked. "I don't know about always friends, but there's certain symbiotic relationship. The mayors and the housekeeping staff, at least, do try to keep each other up to date. It reduces the death toll remarkably," Tyrwin said. "Tessa still has rash?" Orla asked. "Yes, but the feathers stopped pushing through, and now the skin's just peeling," Tyrwin said. "Thank you for sending over the poultice." "Did Bennett say anything?" Cirrocco asked, uncharacteristically hesitant. Tyrwin shot Gav a glance. "Oh, are we doing that in front of him? Things really have changed, haven't they? Bennett says not to worry about most of the things in the cottage, but the mattress is completely saturated with dragon blood and will need to be replaced entirely. He's sleeping on the floor next to the baker's oven until all this blows over and we can redo the roof." "It had mice anyway," Cirrocco shrugged. "If you put mint in straw, like I said, it wouldn't have mice," Orla said primly. "Yes, but then we smell like we slept in mint." Cirrocco started, clearly rehashing a long-cherished argument. "Can we maybe talk about the dark wizards with the plan that will doom all of us and leave the rodent control discussion for another time?" Gav broke in. "Dark wizards come and go," Tyrwin said. "Rodents are forever," finished Orla, "unless eating them. Good eating, very tasty. No one ever listens to Orla." "I'm listening now," Gav said, "although I'd really rather be hearing your ideas on how we can get everyone out of the castle." Throck nodded uncomprehendingly. Orla and Tyrwin looked surprised. Gerbeetle and Alicia stayed impassive. "I don't know how this spell they're working is going to come out, but there's a very large number of ways it could go wrong," he continued. "And at the same time, we're going to have a large number of heroes breaking in and trying to kill everyone any time now." "We've never evacuated the castle before," Cirrocco said. "Never? With all the battles and experiments and rampaging heroes that seemed a bit inevitable." "With all respect, my lord," Cirrocco said, "you never cared before, and neither did your predecessors." "Oh, well, that explained things." "Well, I do now." "And the village?" Orla asked. "And the village what?" Village close, many visitors, lots of garlic. Orla, please save us the time and speak clearly. It's an emergency and Wren can be trusted. Orla pursed her lips and glanced at the princess. Should the villagers evacuate too? And should we try to move the tourists? And if we turn the castle folk out, will the visitors try to kill us all? Alicia twitched, and then looked ashamed at her surprise. Oh dear, yes, if a bunch of goblins came streaming out of the castle, the tourists might very well try to rescue the village from the invasion and feel very clever about it. Even if the tourists don't, the heroes will, Alicia added, looking disturbed. At least inside the castle, the goblins have the advantage of familiarity. What's the goal here? Tyrwin asked. Ideally, he had so many different goals he didn't know where to start. In an ideal world, I want the world not to end and nobody to die. Not even Zarakonar? Alicia raised her eyebrow. Well, that would be nice, but it seems like it's asking for too much, he admitted. We already need to keep the ritual from being completed, without Zarakonar or the others killing us for interfering, and set the princess free, and keep the heroes from slaughtering all the castle folk and me, and keep the tourists spending money, Tyrwin added. We've done all right so far, but we don't have enough yet, and the dragon explosion made for an excellent spectacle, but has put a major damper on the food sales. So let's start with the easiest one, Circo said. How do we keep the heroes out of the castle? It's been tried before. It doesn't work all that well. They're kind of like cockroaches. You can never patch up all the holes. They just keep finding new ones. Gearbeetle raised a claw hesitantly. Yes, Gearbeetle, Gav said as gently as he could. What if we don't keep them out? How are we doing on time? 7 minutes? We'll do another section. Okay. You're insane, Valvina said flatly. No, it's perfect, Gav insisted. He focused on not wiping his sweaty palms against the sides of his robe. Look, you know, no matter how much you do, no matter what you do, the heroes always some way worm their way into the castle and burst in at the worst possible moment. Zaxus nodded mournfully. I have had lots of surgeries go awry that way. So, we invite all the tourists, Gav said. We give the heroes an easy, obvious way to infiltrate and draw them away from searching for hidden passages or using invisibility cloaks or any of that nonsense. Meanwhile, we fill the castle with innocent hostages so the heroes can't go rampaging through and stabbing everybody that they come across. Nobody's servants or companions end up butchered by some berserker. And we charge them per head, Tyrwin had added. So the castle is full of inquisitive idiots wandering around, smudging up all our handiwork and getting in the way. Valvina crossed her arms. Ah, but they aren't wandering, Gav said. They're on a tour. A tour of the moat full of deadly squid, and the garden of death, and the torture chamber, and the dark wizard's portrait gallery, and the banquet hall full of captured banners and of slaughtered foes. And charge them for snacks, Orla had rubbed her hands with glee. Won't they demand to see the workshop, though? Zaxus asked. Gardens of Death are fun, but I'd want to see the workshop. Precisely what the heroes are looking for, said Zarakonar, looking both unimpressed and unamused, and exactly what you were told to prevent them from doing. But that's the fun part, Gav said, praying that he could pull this off, because we don't mention that the workshop is upstairs. It's just bedrooms up there. It's boring. No, we tell them the ritual is being set up in the throne room. And there's a decoy ritual they can watch, Zaxus said, catching on. No, Gav exclaimed, leaning in, his eyes gleaming. Sell it. They're told they can't watch it. Of course not. Such things are not meant for mortal eyes to watch what could To watch would be to court death. Velveena started to smile, because being told they can't do something means that's exactly what they'll want to do. Oh, the bribes we're going to collect, Circo had practically chortled. And who is going to perform this decoy ritual? Zarakonar sneered. Since the actual wizards have an actual ritual to perform. This one he had come up with, and he had to admit he was very proud of it. That's the best part of all. And we will take a break there.